Hello everyone, my name is Navneet Singh and I am a nutritionist, and on this channel I will be bringing to you videos that will give you evidence-backed tools to help you live your best life by becoming the master of your own health. So if you are someone who wants to have a long healthy life and a strong resilient body, and you believe that food can be medicine, then this channel is definitely for you. Now that aside, let's dive into today's topic. Is sodium really causing hypertension? And will reducing salt alone reduce your hypertension? Well, the short answer to this question is yes, sodium can be responsible for hypertension, but there is a catch to it. Stay on till further ahead in the video to find out what the catch is and to know 9 powerful and super effective protocols for you to bring your blood pressure under control and keep it that way. So now let's get into the basics. What is hypertension? Hypertension is a condition when your blood pressure goes over 140 by 90 mmHg or millimeters of mercury, and it stays there, and that becomes your baseline. Normally, ideally, blood pressure should be somewhere around 120 by 80 mmHg. Now, it can fluctuate from person to person, situation to situation, if you are stressed or relaxed. It depends on all of these factors. But it stays somewhere around 120 by 80. It can get higher or lower temporarily depending on the situation, your circumstances. But when your blood pressure crosses 140 by 90 and stays there despite multiple testing at certain intervals, then it becomes a cause for concern. And your doctor might want to put you on pills to reduce that blood pressure. Take the pills if you have to, take those medicines if you have to, but also know that these medicines will at best mask the symptoms of high blood pressure. And the root cause of high blood pressure will still be there unless you make some changes to your diet and lifestyle. Now, what does hypertension really mean apart from the numbers? What is happening inside the body? We have arteries in our body that are responsible. They are those blood vessels that transport oxygen and nutrients to all the organs of your body. In a normal healthy person, the arteries are able to expand and relax very easily without any stiffness in them, ensuring a good level of oxygen and nutrient supply from the heart and to the various organs of the body. In a person who has hypertension, there is a stiffness in these arteries. That means that they are not able to expand and relax very easily. This puts a lot of pressure on your heart. It has to pump blood harder in order to maintain the same level of oxygen and nutrient supply to various organs of the body. It puts a lot of pressure on the heart, and that increases your blood pressure. Study after study has shown that blood pressure or hypertension, if not treated, if not controlled, leads to various problems like various kidney problems, heart problems or cardiovascular diseases, strokes, and even dementia. Another aspect to take seriously when it comes to hypertension is insulin resistance. Yes, insulin resistance, if not treated or if not controlled, leads to type 2 diabetes, which leads to hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, strokes, and a lot of other chronic metabolic ailments that we are facing today in this modern age. Now, you might be wondering why hypertension is so prevalent today. According to WHO, only 12% of us have a normal blood pressure. Only 12%. Isn't that shocking? You might also be wondering why? What is happening to us? Well, modern life happened to us. Too fast and too much of it before our bodies could even evolve to accommodate for the onslaught of things like use of or consumption of ultra processed refined foods that come in packets, and we think of them as foods, like sugar, which is so easily available and very much accessible to us today, like restaurants and cafes all around us and even at the tip of our fingers through our phones, like the consumption of vegetable seed oils at restaurants and cafes through our ultra processed foods and even at home. We have become more sedentary today, more sedentary than what our parents have been and what definitely our grandparents have been. And we have become disconnected from nature because of the kind of jobs we have. and our habit of constantly snacking every 2 to 3 hours. These are some of the main things that are driving almost all the chronic diseases that ail us today, even including our little children. Now, do you remember earlier in the video I talked of a catch? That sodium can be responsible for hypertension, but there is a catch to it. Well, here it goes. Is sodium causing hypertension? Yes, the excessive consumption of sodium is definitely a cause of hypertension. But is it the only cause? Absolutely not. A lack of movement, a lower consumption of potassium, lower consumption of magnesium, chronic stress levels, poor sleep habits, our sedentary lifestyle, along with the excessive consumption of sodium, these things together are causing hypertension. Potassium is a crucial mineral that helps our blood vessels to relax, it helps them to dilate, and also reduces the stiffness of our blood vessels. Magnesium is crucial for regulating our blood pressure, our blood sugar, and the inflammation in our body. A 2021 study showed an inverse relationship between our potassium and magnesium intake and the risk for cardiovascular disease and atherosclerosis. This means that the lower our consumption of potassium and magnesium, higher is our risk of having cardiovascular disease and plaque getting deposited in our arteries. Now that we know that excessive consumption of sodium is causing hypertension, you may be wondering where all this excessive sodium is coming from. Well, they are coming from all the hyperpalatable, ultra-processed, refined foods that we consume on a daily basis that have almost zero nutritive value. These could be things from anywhere, from foods like chips and chocolates and cookies, to your energy drinks, to your soft drinks, to all the carbonated beverages out there, all the ketchups and mayonnaise, foods in the restaurants, yes, they are full of sodium. Your processed cheese, to mention a few of these things, but you do get the idea. Now, in these foods, sodium is added not just to make the food taste salty, but sodium has the property to make us want more and more of these foods. Because sodium is used not just as sodium chloride, which is a regular salt, but in some of the forms like sodium nitrate, sodium phosphate, sodium glutamate, and a lot more. Alright, so sodium is used not only to make the food salty, but to increase the shelf life, to make us want more of these foods, to reduce the moisture content, to hide the bitterness of these foods, and to hide the sweetness of these foods. Our sodium consumption has definitely gone up by leaps and bounds when we compare the sodium consumption of our ancestors, maybe our great-grandparents or grandparents. But where did our potassium go? Where did it go from our diet? Well, today we are not consuming a good variety and enough quantity of vegetables and fruits and dairy products. Potassium is very much easily available and available in abundant quantities in vegetables, fruits and dairy. But because we love the taste of processed foods and the instant gratification that comes with it, that now we find simple home cooked meals as bland and boring, and we eat them as a task and as a punishment. I am not blaming you whatsoever, because it is not your fault that you feel this way. These ultra processed foods are made in such a way, they are manufactured in such a way that they are absolutely delicious, but we cannot stop after having one bite or a few pieces of them. We are always going back in for more and more. The big food companies spend billions and billions of dollars into research so as to manufacture food items that are absolutely delicious and do not really completely satisfy us so that we can stop after one piece, like home cooked meals can do. These are hyper palatable. We are always going back in for more and more. The reality is that these ultra processed foods, no matter how well they are marketed, no matter how many celebrity endorsements they have, and no matter how many health benefits they claim to give us, are causing serious metabolic disorders in adults and little children alike. They are causing us to fall sick easily, and they are taking away the quality of our life because of the cascading effects on our health. Now, let us look into how conventional medicine treats hypertension. We just found out that the excessive sodium consumption leads to hypertension. But when you visit your doctor expecting a total solution to this problem, your doctor might prescribe you to take a few pills, and they will ask you to reduce your salt consumption to half a teaspoon every day in your normal home cooked meals. That is not the best way to treat hypertension because it does not treat the problem whatsoever. What it does at best is that it makes your food taste absolutely horrible and disgusting. You don't want to eat it. It makes you feel miserable and guilty for not being able to follow your doctor's advice. And you crave for salt all day long because your body needs the sodium to maintain homeostasis. It needs the sodium to maintain electrolyte balance because it is absolutely crucial. There is no way to get around sodium in your day-to-day life. Your doctor, but the important question here is, does it lower your blood pressure? The answer is only temporarily. You might see that as you reduce your salt consumption to half a teaspoon every day in your normal home cooked meals, you will start noticing a fall in your blood pressure. But gradually this fall will turn into an increase and your blood pressure will start rising and go back to where it was, or maybe slightly lower than that, but it will go back to almost the baseline. Now you go back to your doctor and doctor might prescribe you to take a few more pills, and they might tell you to reduce your salt consumption even further, and the cycle goes on like this. But the doctor might not even tell you to reduce or cut out the processed foods and refined sugar from your diet, and that is seriously problematic. The root cause of hypertension, which is the inflammation which is caused by all the junk that you get in packets and boxes and cartons, the root cause is still there. It is burning up your body from inside. This inflammation will lead to further increase in your blood pressure. It will lead to type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver, cardiovascular disease, kidney failure, and according to some very recent and strong prospective studies, it might increase your chances of getting Alzheimer's and even Parkinson's disease. The root cause is burning up your body from inside while you are masking the symptoms through all the medicines and reduced salt consumption that your doctor has prescribed to you. The root cause remains untreated, and so the consequences of not treating the root cause also remain and keep on increasing, gradually but surely. Now, if salt consumption alone, reduction of salt consumption alone was enough to treat hypertension, then what explains the J-curve relationship between sodium consumption and the risk for cardiovascular disease? Now, what is this J-curve relationship? This J-curve relationship shows that when you reduce your sodium consumption initially, your risk for cardiovascular disease decreases. But when you reduce the sodium consumption even further, this risk goes on increasing. I am posting the link to this study in the description below. Please have a look. So, in the next few minutes, we are going to look into the powerful protocols, the 9 powerful protocols that I talked about earlier that will help you reduce your blood pressure quite significantly, bring it down to a normal level and keep it that way when you continue following the lifestyle and dietary changes. But first, I want to give a few disclaimers here. The first disclaimer is that I am not against your doctor, I am not against doctor's advice. I have my doctors, you have your own doctors, and we respect them, we admire them for all the work that they put in to save lives. Doctors save countless lives every day. Their advice in most of the situations is absolutely priceless, and we cannot go against that advice, and we are not going against that advice. But as far as nutrition is concerned, that was never a part of their training. Medicine and medicinal intervention is what they are very well trained in. Dietary and lifestyle changes have never been a part of their focus because they were never trained to look into this. Yes, there are some doctors today that are turning towards medicine, dietary changes and lifestyle changes as the first line of treatment, but for all the doctors to get there and the whole medical system to get there, it will take maybe a few decades. The second disclaimer is that these lifestyle changes, dietary changes should be done while keeping your doctor in the loop. Do not do not avoid telling your doctor of all the dietary lifestyle changes you will be doing, because it is important for your doctor to agree to these changes and to ensure that these changes are safe for your particular health condition. Okay, so maintain a diary where you record the dietary changes, the lifestyle changes, your moods throughout the day, and also maintain a diary where you record your blood pressure 2 to 3 times every day and keep telling your doctor from time to time. Now, the third disclaimer is not a disclaimer, but what's coming ahead is that these 9 protocols will help not only those who already have hypertension reduce the blood pressure and keep it under control, but these protocols will also help those immensely who have a normal blood pressure, who are normal and healthy in their present situation, and this will help even their children. If you are a parent and you are watching this video and you have children and you want your children also to never develop chronic ailments like type 2 diabetes or non-alcoholic fatty liver, cardiovascular disease, or insulin resistance, where it all starts, or hypertension, these protocols will help you and your children immensely to never fall into that trap. So keep watching as we get into 9 powerful protocols that will be game changers as far as your hypertension is concerned. Now let us get into the 9 powerful protocols that will change your health game for the better. Number 1. Reduce or get rid of sodium intake from ultra processed foods as much as possible. If it is possible for you to cut out ultra processed foods completely from your life, and you can do it today, it will be absolutely wonderful. So I request you to go to your pantry or your kitchen right now and get rid of all the ultra processed foods that you can find, and they include things like your chips and chocolates and cookies, ice creams, even the healthier versions of these, your carbonated beverages, your cold drinks, your energy drinks, ketchups, mayonnaise, breakfast cereals that you have, flavored makhanas, masala peanuts, the mass-produced maybe namkeens that you have that are not homemade, they are store-bought namkeens. Alright, mass-produced white breads. Alright, if you buy it from a local bakery, maybe that is fine, but there is a way to consuming it in order to reduce the harmful effects of the bread. So if possible, get rid of all the ultra processed foods that are at your home right this minute. Throw that away in your dustbin. They belong in your dustbin and certainly not in your body, because the damage that they are doing in your body is absolutely unimaginable and manifold. When you reduce your consumption of ultra processed foods or get rid of it, you also reduce the inflammation in your body and reduce the oxidative stress. You increase your overall energy levels and you have the energy and the good health to do everything you want to do in life. But if you decide that it is not possible for me and this does not sound sustainable, this does not sound practical, well, you have to do a cost and benefit analysis of ultra processed foods. For anything else in our lives, when we are trying to change our career path, we do a pros and con analysis of anything new or any career change that we are doing. Maybe on a piece of paper we write down the advantages and disadvantages of something. So in the same way, I request you to do this exercise of writing down the advantages and disadvantages of having ultra processed foods. Do your research, just do a Google search, look into actual research papers, and you can find many of those in the description below. Do your research, find out the advantages and the disadvantages of ultra processed foods, and I can assure you that you will only find disadvantages of consuming ultra processed foods on a regular basis. But even then you don't feel convinced, you're not very aggressive on cutting out ultra processed foods, then I request you to reduce their consumption in your life, in the life of your family, as much as possible. You can set a quota, decide that I will have one hyperpalatable food once a week, or if you're eating out at a restaurant once a week, ensure that you are not consuming any other ultra processed items at home or going out throughout the week other than that one time. Or if you are eating a packet of chips once a week, then don't go out to eat that week. I hope this helps, because if you reduce your ultra processed consumption like this also in the beginning as a first step towards cutting out ultra processed foods, that will be a huge step towards reducing your hypertension, towards ensuring that you minimize your risk of insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's. It has been shown in a research by Dr. Richard Johnson that Alzheimer's is definitely caused by ultra processed foods and super high consumption of sodium through ultra processed foods. So do these things, practice, ensure that you are reducing your consumption of ultra processed foods as much as possible. This will benefit your health, the health of your family, and definitely the health of your children. So let's get into the second protocol, which is to eat more whole foods. Now, whole foods have the power to heal and reverse all kinds of diseases if we give them a chance. Going from a diet that is high, or there's a regularity of ultra processed foods, to a diet that is high in whole foods that are made at home will require some efforts from your side. You will have to do your meal planning, you will have to go grocery shopping in advance, and you have to exercise some willpower to reduce the consumption of the ultra processed foods. Okay, but when you do these, the benefits are going to be huge, because whole foods are medicine. They are the true medicine that your body actually needs and may be crying out for. Make your meals as comprehensive as possible. Cook them at home, but it doesn't have to be boring. There can be a variety of seasonal vegetables that you can eat every day. Your leafy greens, combine the vegetables and the leafy greens and make, traditional dishes, or you can experiment with them and make new dishes every day. Okay, in India we are lucky that we have help where we can easily have new meals made at home without spending a lot of time on them. So make your meals comprehensive. Add good fats to your meal like ghee or coconut oil. Cook your meals in coconut oil or ghee and a bit of avocado oil now and then. And add ghee to your dal, to your chawal, to your rotis as well. Have probiotics as a part of your meal on a daily basis. Have things like dahi, which is a probiotic, or chas, or raita. These are absolutely wonderful ways to repair your gut health, which was damaged by ultra processed foods. Include fiber through salads, either cooked salads or your kacha salads that you can have. Have sprout grains at home and include those as part of your fiber on a daily basis. In all your meals, you can do that. Okay, have fermented foods regularly, your fermented idli or dhokla, or your pickles that you make at home, or made by someone you trust, someone in the family like your grandmother. Include those foods on a daily basis. Have chutneys, have your rotis, have your chawal, but add good fats to your meal as well. Do not go on a low fat diet. Okay, when you make your meals comprehensive like this, you start to look forward to those meals because they are absolutely delicious. You relish them and they make you feel stronger. You don't feel lethargic, you don't feel sleepy or irritated after having these foods like you do with ultra processed foods. So you are a person who is more enjoyable to be around. You yourself feel more positive, you feel more active, you are more active, you have more energy to do things like exercise regularly, to lift heavier at the gym, to play games with your kids, or to play any sport, or to even focus on your work better. And these whole foods have the power to reduce your insulin resistance. That is, they will improve your insulin sensitivity, they will lower your blood pressure, they will lower your inflammation, and they will improve the quality of your life in every single aspect. Vegetables and fruits and dairy products, prebiotics, probiotics, all of these have the power to give you all the nutrients, micro and macronutrients that your body will require, including protein as well. So I'm going to read something about potassium and magnesium that you get from whole foods, from vegetables and fruits. Some randomized controlled trials have shown that sufficient potassium intake promotes the excretion of extra sodium out of our body. So that's again an advantage of having whole foods, a variety of vegetables and fruits on a daily basis. The extra sodium that you may have consumed will be excreted out from your body easily without any effort on our part. Increase in plasma potassium levels reduce stiffness in your blood vessels and promotes nitric oxide mediated vasodilation. We have already talked about this previously. And magnesium helps to regulate your blood pressure, blood sugar, reduces inflammation. Now these are the benefits of whole foods that are only in the context of hypertension, because this video is about hypertension, but there are many other benefits as well of eating whole foods as part of your daily meals, all your meals. Okay, so give your body a chance, give whole foods a chance, and see how your hypertension goes away, and see how you feel better, how your life improves for the better. Protocol number 3 is to take enough calcium through dietary sources. Always ensure that throughout your day you are including food sources that contain calcium. Some examples of these food sources could be paneer, tofu, ragi, spinach, your other leafy greens. Don't have them raw, always cook them and have them in order to increase nutrient absorption and assimilation. You could be having your almonds or whole milk. Yogurt is a very good source. Kidney beans are a very good source. Your lentils are very good sources. You can find a lot of these sources online and include these in your daily diet. Sesame seeds are another very good source of calcium. I would not recommend calcium supplements to everybody unless you have problems like osteoporosis or other bone problems and your doctor has recommended you to take calcium supplements. But for everyone else without bone problems, include calcium through your diet, because dietary calcium gets absorbed in the body in a much better way as compared to calcium supplements, according to research. Another supplement that you can include in your life if you are taking enough calcium on a daily basis is vitamin K2. Include somewhere around 100 to 200 mcg per day. Vitamin K2, not other forms of vitamin K, but vitamin K2 in your diet, in your life on a daily basis. Have it after a meal every day, and that will ensure that the calcium that you are consuming gets where it needs to get and not get deposited in your arteries. Okay, so ensure that you are having calcium on a daily basis through dietary sources. That will again reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease, which is caused by hypertension. The fourth protocol is to not reduce salt in your normal home cooked meals. Yes, you heard that right. Your body requires sodium in order to maintain a normal electrolyte balance in the body, to maintain your body water and to maintain normal cell function. In other words, your body requires sodium to maintain homeostasis or internal balance. When you restrict salt by reducing your salt intake extremely in your home cooked meals, what you are doing is you are disturbing this homeostasis that your body requires, and you end up craving for something salty all day long because your body is craving for sodium in order to maintain homeostasis. So do not restrict salt in normal home cooked meals. Restrict the sodium that is coming from the ultra processed foods. That is your enemy and that is what we are targeting. So add a normal amount of salt to your home cooked meals. If you still want to add slightly lesser than normal salt to your home cooked meals, what you can do is add the salt as the last step of the cooking process. Don't add salt at every step. When you add your onions, don't add salt. When you add your tomatoes, don't add salt to it. Add the salt when the cooking is done. That way you will be adding lesser salt and you will still enjoy the flavor of your vegetables, of your curries, your meals and your raitas or whatever it is that you are preparing. Okay, so salt is not the enemy. Sodium from the ultra processed foods is definitely the enemy, and that is what we are targeting. The fifth protocol is to avoid added sugars. Your body does not require white sugar or high fructose corn syrup or jaggery or honey for that matter in order to function optimally. in order to perform all of its various functions on a daily basis. It does not require sugar. It is a very well established fact that white sugar and the high fructose corn syrup and the excessive consumption of even jaggery and honey, even though they have good properties as well, these things lead to type 2 diabetes, they lead to hypertension, they lead to insulin resistance, which is a precursor of all the chronic ailments that trouble us today. They lead to strokes and Alzheimer's and energy crashes throughout the day, accelerated aging, tooth decay, and oral cavities. So these things, these added sugars, the high fructose corn syrup, just like the excessive sodium coming from ultra processed foods, the excessive high fructose corn syrup and the high sugars coming from ultra processed foods are just as detrimental to our health, and they have some very serious and fatal consequences in the long term. So it is a decision that we need to make today to cut down on white sugar and even jaggery and honey to as little as possible, and ideally to cut them out completely from your life because your body does not need it. If it is not possible for you to cut out sugars completely from your life, ensure that you are not consuming more than 1 to 2 teaspoons every day of either white sugar or jaggery or honey combined. And gradually try to reduce that sugar consumption to 1 teaspoon and eventually to half, and to cut it out completely from your life. Or you can cut them out cold turkey. Do your own research, find out the detrimental effects of sugar, of high fructose corn syrup, of the white sugar. Look into videos and research papers of people like Dr. Robert Lustig or David Perlmutter or Dr. Richard Johnson to know the evil consequences of sugar. Sugar is the best friend of the big food industry. Sugar is the best friend of the big pharma industry, but it is the enemy of human existence. And I have no hesitation in saying that just like smoking, sugar kills. Now, the sixth protocol is to exercise regularly. Today, exercising is not a luxury. Exercising regularly is not a luxury. It is a necessity, just like brushing our teeth and combing our hair is. It is a very well known fact, again, that exercise helps to improve your insulin sensitivity. It reduces your hypertension, it reduces your blood pressure, it helps to reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases significantly, it reduces your risk for Alzheimer's, it improves the symptoms of type 2 diabetes, and you might even put it in remission when you combine your lifestyle and your eating habits along with exercising regularly. Even for people who have PCOD and PCOS, exercising regularly is a boon for sure, because it helps to improve those symptoms significantly. And again, a good diet has to go hand in hand. Exercising cannot be used as a tool to outburn a bad diet. So good diet has to be there when you are exercising regularly. Okay, now apart from reducing your blood pressure, exercise has a lot of other benefits. It helps to improve your confidence. It makes you more positive person overall. And it also improves the strength of your bones. As we get older, our bones tend to become porous, and we are more prone to breaking our bones when we fall. So when we exercise, we ensure that our bones don't become porous and they remain strong, and they are able to support us as we go old without any joint pains or body aches here and there. Okay, so exercising regularly helps you live a long, healthy life, a fully functional life where you are able to do everything that you want, most of the things that you want, without breaking your bones easily. So exercise can do that for you. And you can mix it up. You don't have to do one kind of exercise on a daily basis, but try to get 30 to 40 minutes of exercise at least 5 days a week. Okay, and you can practice various exercises. You can join a Zumba class or join a yoga class, learn how to do yoga and practice those asanas at home. Go for a swim if you like to swim, dance or move your body if it makes you happy. Practice strength training either at the gym or at home using weights, dumbbells, resistance bands, or just your body weight. Practice cardio. If you like to run, go for a run. If you like to do brisk walking, go for a brisk walk. But do anything that gets your heart pumping for 30 to 40 minutes at least 5 days a week. you will see massive improvements in your blood pressure along with other markers of various chronic diseases. Let's get into the seventh protocol, which is to manage our stress. A little bit of stress in our day-to-day life can be actually helpful. It can make us more productive. It can help us achieve our big goals. It can help us meet deadlines. But when this stress becomes high and unmanageable and chronic, it becomes a part of your life, it starts to affect every single organ in the body negatively. It enhances the inflammation in the body, and it also leads to hypertension and also affects your relationships negatively. So it is absolutely important to keep your stress under control through simple practices like deep belly breathing for 5 to 10 minutes every day, or practice meditation. You can practice guided meditations if you are a beginner, or just sit down and breathe in and breathe out for 5 to 10 minutes every day, or practice pranayama like anulom vilom. You can do this right after getting up in the morning or before bed or during the day, anytime when you feel very stressed. Or you can break it down in chunks, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, as per your convenience. But do it. It is absolutely important. It is essential that you keep your stress under control. If walking makes you happy, if walking reduces your stress, go out in the nature and walk without any technology, without your phones and without your earphones plugged in. These practices, just being with your breath and being connected with nature, will definitely help reduce your stress and will bring down your blood pressure and will also have many positive effects on your life. The eighth and a very important protocol is to get good quality sleep almost every night. Sleep, deep restorative sleep, is absolutely essential for all of us. It helps rejuvenate every single cell in our body and helps repair a lot of physical and mental wear and tear that our body and mind goes through every single day. So do not compromise upon sleep. Do not take it lightly. Do not feel like you can make up for the lost sleep at night during the daytime or during the weekend, because this making up of sleep over the weekend can only keep your body going for so long. After a point of time, you will start noticing a lot of negative effects like higher blood pressure, your insulin sensitivity will be reduced, there will be brain fog, you will feel lethargic throughout the week, and you will be more irritable. So make sure that you are getting good quality sleep, and for 7 to 8 hours almost every night. Of course, we cannot be perfect. We will have some social commitments and maybe some work-related engagements that require us to, cut back on sleep a little. Maybe sometimes, not very occasionally, not an everyday thing. But for the other nights, we must sleep. We must make sure that we are sleeping well. We are sleeping for 7 to 8 hours, and the conditions for sleep are optimal. So different things work for different people. For you, you might be able to get good sleep only when the room is absolutely dark. You might be able to sleep only when the AC is on. So do what works for you. Do everything that helps you to sleep better at night. But some of the things that all of us can try and see if it is working if we have sleep problems are taking a warm water bath like 5-10 minutes before bed, or stretching on the bed, giving up tea and coffee after 2 p.m. in the afternoon, because it starts when you have coffee or tea after 2 p.m. in the afternoon, it disrupts with our sleeping patterns and you may fall asleep later than you want to. Avoid stimulants after dinner. Avoid things like very dark chocolates, tea and coffee post dinner. You can of course have your ginger lemon tea or turmeric milk or plain milk without a problem, or milk sweets that you make at home, they are absolutely fine. Using dates, not the added sugar, as little as possible of those. Go for a walk post dinner. Do not sleep right after dinner. Keep a gap of 2 to 3 hours between your dinner and sleep. Okay, sleep at a fixed time, wake up at a fixed time every day in order to give your body the cue that it needs to sleep at this time, needs to wake up at that time, at your set time in the morning. So these are some of the things that you can practice, you can try out and see if it works for you, if it helps to improve the quality of your sleep. Because sleep is absolutely important if you are looking to bring your blood pressure under control and keep it that way. Now let's get into the ninth and the final protocol, but a very important one, to change our mindset. If you're watching this video and you are feeling that, well, all of these protocols are very restricted, then that exactly is the mindset we need to change today. What is stopping you from living your best life? What is stopping you from reaching your full potential in all the aspects of your life is all the ultra-processed foods, the added sugars, high chronic levels of stress, poor sleeping habits, and not the whole foods that we do not consume as much. If you still think that you can get away with a cold drink or an ice cream or a few cookies or a packet of chips, even though it's small, you can get away with those on a daily basis, well, you are sadly mistaken. Today, we need to come together as families and communities and start asking questions to the big food industry as to why they add so many extremely harmful ingredients in all the processed food items that they are selling us and making profits to the tune of billions of dollars, while we, their consumers, are suffering and we are getting sicker and sicker and sicker and metabolically unflexible, unhealthy. Today we need to go back to our tradition of cooking meals at home, of being mindful of how much we eat and the quality of the foods we eat, and eating them together as a family. At least try to have at least one meal a day together with your family. And we need to start treating sugar and sweet foods once again, like our ancestors did, as something that we have occasionally, maybe on birthdays or on festivals, and not something that we eat so casually, just walking around at home and enjoying your cookies. That is just not a healthy practice for you. Today, as parents, it is also our responsibility to lead our children by example. If you are a parent and you are watching this video and you find it difficult to get your children to stop eating junk food, then maybe you need to lead by example and you need to stop eating those foods as well. Children are excellent learners and they learn good things and bad things equally from the people around them and especially their parents. So why not teach them the right eating habits? Just like environmentalists and activists today are talking about leaving the planet a better place for our children, why can't we as parents decide to leave our children with better eating habits, sleeping habits, and exercising habits? If you feel that I am being idealistic, well, I am not being idealistic. I am being absolutely realistic. It is our health and our children's health on the line here. It is our life and death in the hands of the big food industry. And maybe we need to think hard and we need to formulate our plan as to how we will get away from these foods and get towards better health. And these protocols will definitely help you reduce not just your blood pressure, but will reduce your risk for many metabolic chronic ailments like cardiovascular diseases, like strokes, like Alzheimer's, non-alcoholic fatty liver, total kidney failure, and a lot more. Now, if you like these 9 protocols, you liked the video, you found it helpful, and you feel like it can help someone you know, someone you love, then make sure that you share this video with your friends and family and help as many people as you can. Do like the video if you found this useful, if you found the information useful and valuable. Subscribe to my channel. And that's it from my side today. Until the next time, have a good day. Thank you for watching. Namaste.